Hi, my name is Alexander. In this video, we will create REST API with Node.js and Express.js framework to establish communication between an Angular frontend, Node Express Server backend, and SQL Server database. For the frontend, we will use Angular application that we created in a video, Angular and .NET Core API Part 2, where instead of communication with RESTful API with .NET Core on the server side, we will communicate with APIs of Nodejs Express server, which in turn will communicate with SQL Server database, which we created in the same video. At the end of this video, we will speak how to debug the Node Express server. Let's create Node Express server. Create a new folder. Check Node version installed. We have Node version 20.19.5. It initializes a folder, creates package.json file. This file is the core of every Node.js project. It is a JSON file located in the root directory of the project and contains crucial metadata and functional information about the project. Install all required packages in this folder. Express.js is a popular, minimalist web application framework for Node.js, designed to simplify the creation of server-side application and APIs. It builds upon Node.js native HTTP module, providing a more structured and feature-rich environment for handling web requests. The core package in Node.js exists to simplify the implementation of cross-origin resource sharing, CORS, in web applications. It serves as a middleware for the frameworks like Express. We will speak later about this package. A MS SQL package exists in Node.js to provide a robust and efficient way for Node.js applications to interact with Microsoft SQL Server databases. NodeMon package. Its primary purpose is to automatically restart your Node.js application whenever changes are detected in your source code files. The .env package in Node.js applications is used to load environment variables from a .env file into process.env. This is crucial for several reasons. Security. It keeps sensitive information such as API keys, database credentials, and other secrets out of your source code. Hard coding these values directly into your application's files is a security risk, as they could be exposed if the code is shared or committed to a public repository. Configuration management. .env allows you to easily manage different configurations for various environments: development, testing, production. You can have separate .env files for each environment, making it simple to switch between configurations without modifying your application's code. First, we have to enable communication with the database required for our project. Open SQL Management Studio. We will use table customers in the store database. Click Windows and R. Execute comp management.msc. In a computer management, expand SQL Server Configuration Manager, SQL Server Network Configuration, and enable TCP/IP protocols for MS SQL Server. Right mouse click, select Properties, select IP Addresses tab, scroll down, check that TCP/IP port is 1433. It is a default port used by Microsoft SQL Server to listen for and accept incoming network connections from the client applications. If it is empty, you have to indicate the port 1433 or a new port. Restart MS SQL Server. Let's create Node Express server. Open Visual Studio Code. Create .env file and add variables for the communication with SQL Server database. SQL Server name, SQL Server database, username and password that we use for SQL Server authentication, TCP/IP port for the database, port for the Node Express server. Create server.js file in a folder. Import Express framework. Import MS SQL module. This line imports the course middleware. Imports the .env module and immediately calls its config method. The .env module loads environment variables from the .env file into process.env, making them accessible throughout your Node.js application. Create an instance of an Express application. An Express server uses app.use CORS to enable cross-origin resource sharing CORS, a security mechanism required by web browsers to allow communication between applications from different origins, domains, protocols, or ports. Browsers implement a security feature called the same origin policy, which restricts web pages from making requests to a different origin, domain, scheme, or ports than the one that serves the original web page. This policy prevents malicious scripts on one website from accessing sensitive data on another. In our case, Node Express origin will be localhost port 3000, but the request's origin is different and will be from localhost port 4200. It is URL of Angular application. We need to tell the browser that we allow the request from other URL or URLs. By default, CORS without any arguments will enable CORS for all origins, allowing any domain to make requests to your server. Configuration object. As I mentioned already, the .env package in Node.js applications is used to load environment variables from the .env file into process.env object, and we use process.env object to set up properties in config object. Enable JSON body parsing. Start the server and listen on the specified port. Add CRUD operations. Get all customers from the table. Select customer. Create a new customer. Update customer. Delete customer. To send a JSON JavaScript object notation response to the client, we will use response.json method. Start Node Express server. We can test our server in browser. We received the list of all customers. We received the customer record with the customer ID equal 20. Client side. For the frontend, we will use Angular application that we created in a video, Angular and Asp Net Core API Part 2. Create subfolder Angular Node. Copy Angular application in this subfolder. By default, Angular version is 17. Install packages. Check that application starts correctly. Application starts correctly, but every operation returns a notification. Server is down. It is because we didn't start server-side RESTful API with .NET Core. Instead, we will redirect all requests to the Node Express server, which in turn will communicate with SQL Server database store. Open Visual Studio Code. Change base URL. Update CRUD operations. We don't need to parse data received from the server into JSON object response. Because response.json method of Node Express server sends data to the client already in JSON format. Under subscribe method, we have to indicate data type as any to avoid the error property error doesn't exist on type object. Remove show status success. Update the get customer method. Make changes in update method. Post method. Delete method. In a cleanup operation, we set the fields customer type, state, to the initial state not selected. We have made all required updates in our Angular application to redirect the requests to the Node.js Express server. Test application. Start Node.js Express server and Angular application. Get customer list. Get customer. Add customer. Update customer. Try to add existing customer. We received a notification. Violation of primary key constraint. Try to select Node existing customer. We have a notification, cannot find record with a customer ID 1012. The record does not exist. Try to update not existing customer. Cannot update the record with a customer ID 1012. The record doesn't exist. Try to delete not existing customer. Cannot delete the record with a customer ID 1012. The record doesn't exist. Delete existing customer. Angular application in Node Express server work as expected. Remove type of augment data in a subscription. We receive an error. Property error doesn't exist on type object. It is because type object doesn't have property error. Revert our changes and save. Angular application recompiled automatically and triggered a browser refresh after changes are saved to source file. The last thing we need to talk about it is how to debug the Node Express server. To debug the Node Express server, we have to start it with the option Inspect. Open Chrome Inspect in a browser. The page will automatically detect running Node.js processes that are listening for a debugger. This is a process launched with inspect or inspect brk. Click Inspect button. Now we can use breakpoints to debug Node Express server. For example, let's debug getCustomer method. We see our action hits the breakpoint and we can inspect variables. Sometimes Chrome Inspect cannot connect debugger to your application. The reason for this can be incorrect port or host configuration. By default, Node.js Inspect listens on 127.0.0.1 port 9229. If your Node.js process is listening on a different port or host, Chrome DevTools needs to be configured to look for that specific address. Solution: go to Chrome Inspect, click Configure, and add localhost and port. Click Done. After some time, we see Inspect button. Click on it, and we can continue to use debugger for the server.js. That's all that I wanted to show you in this video. The source code is located under the GitHub. The URL is indicated in the video description. If you are enjoying this content and would like to see more and support my channel, please feel free to like this video and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, have a good day, and bye.